Hello, good afternoon. My name is Michelle Adler, and I'm here to introduce the mood disorder depression. Depression can be described as someone going through a hard time beyond their control, where they cannot control their emotions. So they seem to go in a downward spiral. What I mean by a downward spiral is that they do not engage in things they used to engage in. They have no willpower to do so. They can be laying in bed all day. They refuse to eat. They don't go out with their friends. They don't want to see anybody. They don't want to answer the phone. And this can also be hereditary. It is genetic. If there are children that, for example, have depressed parents, they are more prone to depression. And as well as, anybody else, if there's family members that are depressed, again, how I said it is hereditary, and depression can carry on, you know, to another family member or loved one or so forth. Today, since I'm discussing depression, I do want to emphasize on the economy has had a great impact on everybody. I have witnessed this, through you see friends going through a hard time. People have lost their homes. They're very depressed. Or their jobs, or for example, there was this incident. It didn't occur at my workplace, but another workplace, and I do work with um, people that do need government assistance. And this lady last year took the life of herself and her two children because she didn't get benefits through the government. This is a very serious matter. Depression is not something that should just be neglected or ignored. People need to be assisted right away. Just as, I gave you the example of that incident, and it is a true fact that this did happen. And I do believe that the lady was depressed because she sincerely needed that help. And I don't know why she was not given that help. She probably, didn't qualify. But according to um, friends of mine that did view where she did live, this lady sincerely needed the help. And I do believe that depression was a great factor. It probably internally, emotionally just damaged her, hurt her. She didn't know what to do anymore about it. Just imagine not having food to eat, or always worried how your children are going to be able to eat, if there's going to be food on the table. Starting with depression, and then it looks like other disorders may have affected her after that happened. Because it is a fact that once you have depression, if you don't treat it, it can linger on and it can grow into other disorders. Bipolar is one of them, and major depressive disorder is another one, as well as clinical depression. Now, I do want to say that um, 15 million people in the United States alone have depression today. And I did research that 27 billion goes into depression alone within the nation. Because there's so many people that are depressed today for different reasons. And another example can be post-traumatic stress syndrome, which people in the military may have. And they come back from battle. Let's say, for example, they served in Iraq or Afghanistan, and they do need counseling. They, saw things that they would not normally see, that is not the norm, and that they're not used to, and they couldn't handle it emotionally. And they come back to the United States, they come back to their country, and they need counseling, they need assistance. It is not something to be laughing about. This is a pretty serious disorder. That's why I chose to research on this disorder. I found it quite interesting. And I didn't research that President Abraham Lincoln, out of all people, this is what I found interesting. He was depressed back in the 1830s, President Lincoln. But what I admire about him is that he overcame it. He was severely depressed, and this was during the Civil War era. And it took a lot of, guts to go and, here you are, you have to help the nation, you have to make sure the war and everything goes as it should to help your country. Now, that's great stress. And, I also researched that his son had died. That was something that probably created his depression, along with serving the country and seeing what the country was going through at the time. And very honorable and noble man. He succeeded in everything he, sought out to do as our president back then in the 1830s. And I guess he used his depression and he used it to become such a fantastic president. He overcame it, in that aspect. Another thing I want to touch base on is that for, let's say, for therapy for depression, you can use cognitive therapy, there's behavioral therapy, there's psychodynamic therapy, and lastly, there is antidepressants such as Prozac and Zoloft, for example. I do like this subject, that's why I picked it. And the depression, it's just amazing. I even researched that the suicide rate for teenagers since the 1950s has tripled. And I believe it has tripled because, you have so many different things going on with teenagers. You have peer pressure, you have wanting to feel, fit in society, test scores, what college are they going to get into, and it could be pressure from their parents, their peers, so much pressure, and that's why they go ahead and look into drug abuse, which is not the route to take. It could be alcohol or drugs, and we need to make sure that whoever does seek out that they do seek professional guidance, because it can, really ruin a person's life. So make sure, if anybody that is suffering from bullying, peer pressure, drug abuse, that you see that they seek professional counseling right away. Depression, again, is a very serious subject, and we shouldn't leave it to chance. Again, how I emphasized, if somebody that is suffering depression, please see that they seek professional guidance as soon as possible. There is a chance, depending on the severity of the depression, that they can commit suicide. So again, see that the loved one, friend, family member seeks professional guidance. I can't emphasize how important that is, how important enough that is. But today we need to go ahead and see that everybody is helped in every which way, whether it's through the community, any programs, anything at all. Please see that they are helped. And overall, I'm gonna go ahead and end this presentation. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and I look forward to discussing more presentations like this one. Have a great day. Thank you.